Whispers on the Wind. Japanese urban legends. Japan, a land of ancient beauty filled with traditions. From the bustling streets of Tokyo to the serene temples of Kyoto, the country is a blend of the old and the new. The culture is rich, the history deep, and the people are known for their respect and honor. But beneath this surface of tranquility and order, lies a world that is far darker and more mysterious. But underneath its peaceful look, a scary darkness lives. In the quiet corners of the cities and the remote areas of the countryside, there are stories that have been passed down through generations. These tales speak of spirits that wander the earth, unable to find peace, and creatures that lurk in the shadows, waiting to prey on the unsuspecting. Whispers travel in the wind, stories of angry spirits and monsters hiding in the shadows. The wind carries these tales from one ear to another, ensuring that they are never forgotten. Each story is a thread in the intricate tapestry of Japanese folklore, woven with fear, caution, and a touch of the supernatural. These are Japan's urban legends told over many years, each one a scary story about ghosts and monsters. These legends are more than just stories, they are a part of the cultural fabric, a way to explain the unexplainable and to teach lessons about respect, humility, and the consequences of one's actions. Some people think they're just stories, but others know the truth. For those who have encountered the supernatural, these legends are a stark reminder of the thin veil that separates our world from the unknown. They serve as a warning to tread carefully, to respect the unseen forces that may be watching. These stories are warnings, reminders that the wall between our world and the ghost world is thin, and sometimes it breaks. When it does, the spirits and creatures from the other side can cross over, bringing with them chaos and fear. It is in these moments that the legends come to life, and the line between reality and myth blurs. The 8-foot specter and unnatural height. Among these spooky stories, one creature is very tall, Hachishakusama, the 8-foot-tall woman. Just her name scares people, a whisper of fear in the night. Imagine a huge figure wearing a long white funeral dress. Her face, if you can even call it that, is hidden by a big white hat. She is strangely pale, like a ghost, showing she's not from our world. A familiar voice luring the innocent. The scariest thing about Hachishakusama? Her voice, a sweet voice like a child's that can sound like your loved one's. She uses this creepy ability to trick people, often kids, to go with her. It starts slowly. A whisper of your name in the wind. You turn around but no one's there. Trapped by Po, the boy and the vanishing act. One story tells of a young boy visiting his grandparents in the countryside. The village was quaint, with old wooden houses and narrow winding paths. The boy loved the fresh air and the freedom to explore the vast fields and forests that surrounded the village. His grandparents' house was at the edge of the village, near the rice fields that stretched out as far as the eye could see. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, he started hearing a strange voice calling his name. A woman's voice, soft and pretty. It was almost like a lullaby, gentle yet eerie. The boy felt a chill run down his spine but couldn't help but be drawn to the voice. He wandered closer to the rice fields, trying to find the source of the sound. Po, it seemed to say, echoing through the rice fields. The sound was rhythmic, almost hypnotic, and it seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The boy stood there, frozen, listening to the haunting melody that filled the air. The fields, usually so peaceful, now seemed to be hiding something sinister. He looked for who was talking but found nothing. The voice seemed to vanish as quickly as it had appeared, leaving the boy feeling confused and a little scared. He ran back to his grandparents' house, his heart pounding in his chest. He tried to tell them about the voice, but they dismissed it as his imagination. Days later, while playing outside, he heard the voice again, closer this time. It was unmistakable, the same soft, pretty voice calling his name. This time, it felt more urgent, more insistent. The boy felt a strange compulsion to follow the voice, to find out who was calling him. He wandered deeper into the fields, his curiosity overcoming his fear. He saw a little bit of her, a flash of white disappearing behind a tree. It was just a glimpse, but it was enough to make his heart race. He called out, asking who she was, but there was no answer. The voice had stopped, and the fields were silent once more. The boy felt a sense of dread wash over him as he realized he was alone. His grandparents, with scared faces, knew what it meant. They had heard stories of the mysterious woman who haunted the fields, a spirit known as Hachishakusama. They knew that once she chose someone, there was no escape. They tried to protect the boy, keeping him inside and watching over him constantly, but they knew it was only a matter of time. They knew the boy had been chosen by Hachishakusama. The tall woman, with her eerie presence and haunting voice, had marked him. The boy's fate was sealed, and his grandparents could only watch in helpless fear as the days passed, knowing that the vanishing act was inevitable. Some villages whisper of encounters so terrifying, so scarring that they refuse to speak her name out loud. They point to abandoned houses, windows boarded shut, doors sealed with protective charms. These are places where Hachishakusama took victims, where the fear of her return lingers like a curse. Evading the inevitable rituals of protection. The stories tell of ways to stay safe from the 8-foot monster, amulets and charms, prayers whispered quietly, offerings left at shrines. But even these don't guarantee safety, because once Hachishakusama decides she wants you, you can't escape. Beyond the shadows Hachishakusama in popular culture, Hachishakusama's legend is now famous. Her scary image has come out of the shadows and into comics and movies. Comic book artists draw her huge form, eyes shining with a creepy light. Movie directors use her scary height and haunting voice to scare audiences. Her story reminds us that scary things might be hiding in our world. A lingering dread, the power of urban legends. Whether she's real or just a scary story, Hachishakusama's tale still scares people. She represents the fear of the unknown, of the unseen thing watching from the dark. Her story is a warning. Not everything tall and quiet is safe. Conclusion: the unseen terror that haunts Japan. In the world of Japanese ghost stories, Hachishakusama is special. Known as the 8-feet-tall woman, she is a spirit that has haunted the imaginations of many. Her name comes from her towering height, which is said to be around 8 feet. She is often described as wearing a long white dress and a wide-brimmed hat, her face obscured by shadows. The eerie sound of her voice, a deep, resonant po, 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 is said to be heard before she appears. She embodies the feeling of being alone and scared when facing something we don't understand. The legend says that once she sets her sights on someone, she will follow them relentlessly, appearing in their dreams and whispering their name. Her presence is often accompanied by a sense of dread and an overwhelming feeling of being watched. Those who encounter her are said to be cursed, and many have disappeared without a trace. Her story is told everywhere, reminding us that even with all our technology, there are still scary things that happen at night. In rural villages, parents warn their children to stay indoors after dark, lest they attract her attention. The fear of Hachishakusama is deeply ingrained in the culture, a reminder of the thin veil between our world and the supernatural. Even in modern cities, the legend persists, a chilling tale that refuses to fade away. Things that whisper our names from the shadows and watch us. The stories of Hachishakusama are not just about fear, but also about the unknown. They tap into our primal fears, the ones that lie deep within us. The fear of the dark, the fear of being alone, and the fear of the unknown. These are the fears that Hachishakusama embodies, making her a figure of terror that transcends time and place. So the next time you're alone and you think you hear someone calling your name, listen closely. It might be nothing, just the wind or your imagination. But then again, it might be something more. The stories say that Hachishakusama can appear anywhere at any time. She is not bound by the rules of our world, and her reach is long. So if you ever feel a chill down your spine or hear a faint po, po, po in the distance, remember the legend. It might be Hachishakusama, and she might be closer than you think. The legend of Hachishakusama serves as a reminder of the mysteries that still exist in our world. It tells us that no matter how much we think we know, there are always things that lie beyond our understanding. So, as you go about your life, always be aware of your surroundings. You never know when you might encounter the unseen terror that haunts Japan.